أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. There is a myth prevalent in Western and liberal societies that Muslim women are oppressed and constrained because of their headscarves and face veils. In these societies, it is believed that showing skin and wearing fewer clothes means freedom and empowerment of women. That's why nude or semi-naked scenes in movies are called bold scenes, and sometimes liberal women protest naked as a show of female power. Let's take a deep dive into this Western freedom of women and analyze its anatomy. I have to warn you though that I'll be looking at it from angles that you probably don't expect. And usually people don't think about it like that because they've been raised in this system and they're so used to it that it all seems normal to them. So let's get to it, and don't be surprised if this out of the box analysis makes you a bit uncomfortable. In the liberal culture, it is norm for women to show skin and wear tight clothes, as we can observe in sports, gym, bars, nightclubs, and beaches, etc. But this is the first step of something much bigger. If you think about it, the more skin you show, the more makeup you have to buy. This is how you are sold makeup and beauty products. Have you ever thought what the word makeup means? Why is it called makeup? The underlying assumption here is that your skin and body are not good enough. So buy this makeup from us and make it up and look better. So women in the Western and liberal societies are implicitly taught and they're brainwashed into thinking that they cannot be proud of their body and looks unless they put on makeup. Layers of powder, fake eyebrows, fake eyelashes, wigs, lipsticks, and God knows what. This list goes on and on and on. Without this fake material, they're supposed to feel incomplete and deficient. Once you internalize this message, you will become insecure about your looks, and then you will keep buying more and more makeup for life trying to make it up. Congratulations, you become their lifelong customer. Now, you know it is men's biology that they like to look at women. So this gives liberal men an opportunity to stare at women's embellished faces and exposed bodies at women's own expense. The funny thing is that on one hand, women have to deal with creepy, dirty looks, and on top of that, they have to pay for all of this. And the men running beauty and fashion industry become some of the richest people on the planet. Notice they don't come to you directly and say, hey, show more skin and buy this makeup from us. They take a genius indirect approach and go step by step. Step 1. Convince women that showing skin is a symbol of freedom, power, and rebellion against men's authority. Step 2. For public to swallow this pill, they hire celebrities to project this image through movies and advertisement. Notice that celebrities are not concerned about you. They are money worshiper sellouts. They cash out your fascination with them and help companies sell you products that you don't really need and they don't use themselves. So these fashion and beauty companies use paid actors who are popular among public to project this false image. Step 3. Once some women are convinced, they will tie their self-worth to makeup. Then they will start competing with each other in making it up and looking better. Then the rest of them will follow the crowd because that's human nature. Notice that the social and peer pressure is so great that even for low-income families, they may not have money for food and rent, but they for sure have to find money for makeup and fashion products. Once you buy and put on makeup, then you have to buy even more skincare to take that makeup off. So that's a double whammy. On the other hand, the execs of the fashion and beauty industry can now sit back, relax, and watch their money soar. In the next step, when young women learn to glorify promiscuity and nudity, especially in schools and colleges, and confuse it with freedom and adventure, then it becomes easier to lure many of them into strip clubs and porn industry and further exploit them. Their lives are ruined, but some people in the liberal society, who are mostly men, are making boatload of money. So here is some food for thought. If bearing skin is really power and freedom, why don't men do it and compete each other in that? One side effect of promoting promiscuity in junior and high schools is that young and inexperienced girls usually end up in relationship with losers and predators. These bad relationships end up in psychologically traumatic breakups. Sometimes these losers take advantage of the innocent girls, ruin their lives, and leave them to be single mothers. Back in the days, the tobacco industry played the same game with young men. That cigarette was a symbol of power, maturity, and rebellion of bad boys against the authority of their parents. They advertised it through celebrities the same way, and it worked. So many young men became addicted to cigarette, but then they figured it caused cancer. This was a primarily men's problem, and looks like since men run the governments for the most part, they passed laws and eventually choked this industry. But when it comes to what's harmful to women, they promote it even though they know, for example, that high heels cause deformities in feet, which cause chronic pain and arthritis. Chemicals in makeup cause skin disease, irritation, rashes, pimples, or even skin cancer. Then why don't they discourage it through education and restrict it through law? Because men naturally like to stare at exposed women, and when women are in makeup, that's icing on the cake. And for the most part, women themselves have swallowed this pill. So it is easy for corporations in liberal societies to keep exploiting women through fashion, beauty, and porn industry and keep making money out of them. In Western and liberal societies, the young girls are taught that becoming a singer, dancer, or actress, aka celebrity, is the pinnacle of success. You need to look no further than the modern Me Too movement to see how that works. The Me Too movement has given us a good glimpse of how young and aspiring girls are exploited on their way of becoming celebrities. We now know that on the surface it is flashy and fascinating. It is fantasy and fairy tale. But under the hood, it's foul and filthy.
You have a pretty face. Here, stand up and give me a twirl.
Now?
Pull your dress up and let me see your legs.
So this is behind all the fame, glamour, and red carpets. I wonder how many of you would like to put your sister or daughter in this situation where she's alone with creeps. You see, it's not about freedom and women empowerment. It's about money and lust. Why do you think that France is so scared of Muslim women's face veil and abayas? Because they have the biggest fashion industry. And if women get inspired and start wearing face veils, that's bad for their business. That's why there is so much propaganda against Islam and hijab, because it is a threat for the rich and powerful beneficiaries of this system of women's exploitation. Just follow the money trail and you'll see what's going on behind the scenes. Notice when you are a young woman, it is very thrilling to wear makeup and get compliments and likes on social media. But what you don't realize is that you are entering a war against time. After 5 years, you will become older, and then there'll be a new younger kid on the block who will join the race and they will steal the attention and recognition from you. Now, to keep relevant, you'll have to buy specialized makeup that hides wrinkles, etc. Over time, that will also not work. Then you go to the next step of plastic and cosmetic surgeries, implants, and beauty procedures, which is a separate industry. They would not mind helping you unload your hard-earned money to themselves at all. That again will work for maybe another 5-10 years, and then you will still lose. After having spent so much time, money, emotions, and energy, you will come out of it empty-handed and depressed because no human being has ever won a war against time. On the other hand, Islam tells women that their natural God given beauty is valuable. It needs no makeup, and in fact, it is so good that they need to hide it behind a veil. The underlying premise is that God created women valuable and precious and also gave them a security protocol for their safety because something precious and valuable should be kept in secret. For example, when you open a bank, you have to follow certain security protocols mandated by law and keep the deposited money and other valuables in secret so that they are safe. If a bank is robbed and it turns out that the bank was not following the security protocol, they are fined by the government, and public lawsuits also follow, and it is not called victim blaming. Islam creates a wall of privacy between men and women. In traditional Muslim societies, women are not easily approachable. They're elusive and mysterious under their veils, which makes them highly sought after and valuable. There is no such thing as free mixing or casual dating. They would not even talk to a stranger unless it is out of dire necessity. If you want to approach a woman, it will have to be for marriage, and you will have to go through her family first. The family will vet you hard to make sure that they're not giving their daughter to some cheat, creep, stalker, weirdo, or loser who will not be able to support his wife and future kids. Therefore, in Muslim societies, there is no epidemic of single mothers struggling to raise their children by themselves, except for a few who are widowed, etc. There is no such thing as deadbeat fathers because these guys are thoroughly shamed and rejected in an Islamic society. Think about it. If you're a woman, wouldn't you want to live in a society where you don't have to worry that just because you had a fight with your husband, now your husband will go out and find another younger woman at a bar, nightclub, in the gym, at a party, or at his workplace, and that will be the start of the end of your marriage? Or even when you marry, wouldn't you want a man who hasn't been in multiple relationships and breakups with a huge body count, who doesn't bring the trauma, scars, and baggage from the previous breakups into your marriage? This is what Islam achieves for women when it draws those walls of privacy between men and women and separates them. So when you take a hijab and become unavailable for strangers to approach you, you help maintain that wall in society, and you make the institute of marriage stronger in society. And that in turns makes your own marriage stronger and more secure. Consequently, in Islamic societies, you don't have to keep your mind and body ready for the cycle of next traumatizing breakup or divorce, and then the next round of dating person to find the right person, and then the next marriage and next divorce. You can put your bags down after your first marriage. You have kids and have lasting family relationships, and then you become a grandma in peace. In Islamic society, as you grow older, you are considered wiser, more experienced, and more respectable. You have your own social circle of friends and neighbors. As your family becomes bigger, you have a lot of respect as an elder of your family. Your kids, nephews, nieces, and grandkids will visit you and ask you for your advice in their life matters. So you are always relevant in their life. Your kids will always love you and even provide financial and medical support when you need it because Islam requires it. Mothers have a very high status in Islam. So when you hide yourself behind a hijab, you are also out of the war against time. You don't have to compete against other women in makeup and surgeries. You don't have to waste time and money putting makeup on and then washing it off over and over again. Rather, you spend this time in worshiping God and looking after your family. Now, I would like you to watch this video.
Modest is one thing. Completely covering a woman so you don't see any of her,
Well,
that's
listen,
not modest.
well,
That's
listen.
pathological.
Suppose she's happy with that.
She's not, oh my God, she's not happy with it. I mean, you can brainwash someone into liking anything.
You see how godless men become so uncomfortable when they cannot see the faces and bodies of Muslim women? This guy makes a claim that Muslim women are not happy and they're brainwashed, like this guy is an expert on Muslim women and Muslim societies. And look who is talking about brainwashing. So when you take a hijab, your message to perverts like this is that our beauty and our body is none of your business. It is not for you, so keep your dirty looks away and back off. The beauty of hijab is that you don't have to verbalize this message. The hijab broadcasts this message for you and it is well received and respected. So if you think about it, it's actually the women in Western liberal society who are oppressed and exploited. Due to social and peer pressure, they are forced to waste money on harmful makeup and useless surgeries. They are demanded to wear makeup at work so that they can be used to attract more male customers. So many of them are exploited in the strip clubs and porn and film industry. Women are touched, groped, and harassed at nightclubs and bars, especially when they're drunk. Many are raped at dates and college parties. So many women are used for some loser men's sexual pleasure who afterward either break up with them or even leave them to be single mothers. Even after marriage, if the husband has sexual relations with another woman outside of the marriage, there are no legal repercussions or prevention for that because the system is not designed to protect the rights of a wife. The most you can do is just divorce your husband. Whereas in Muslim societies, there are dire consequences of having sexual relations outside of the marriage because God's system is geared towards protecting the marriage and family. Women in today's Western society are stuck in the cycle of breakups and divorces and cannot get out of it and end up lonely in the old age. Overall, the liberal society does not give them the value that they deserve. God created all women valuable and precious. God did not create their beautiful bodies for the consumption of stranger men's dirty and lustful looks, and that's why God wants them to protect their privacy and be covered. It is time that our sisters in humanity realize that their intrinsic and God-given value cannot be realized by following the norms of money and lust-oriented societies. If they try to fit in, they will be used for lustful men's sexual pleasure and money extortion. Following the path of body exposure and promiscuity will require them to buy makeup that they don't need and go through useless surgeries, fragile relationships, broken families, and lonely old age. It is the beauty of Islam that when we follow its recommended life path, it frees us from the burdens that man-made societies put on us, so that we can focus on worshiping God and spend time on family and what matters in life, rather than keep putting on makeup and watching it off over and over, exposing bodies and becoming vulnerable for the consumption of dirty looks of creeps, perverts, and other lustful types of men. At the end, I just want to play this clip for a good laugh.
Contre l'interdiction, je suis pour l'interdiction du voile dans l'espace public. Je l'ai dit de la manière la plus claire. Je pense que le voile est un uniforme imposé par les islamistes. Il faut libérer l'ensemble de ces femmes. Il faut faire reculer.
Thank you so much for watching and goodbye.